Nightwitches, a vibes-based podcast where we yap about all things hockey. Today is December 7th, and I'm your host, Sate. This is my partner in crime, Champ. Champ, how you doing?
I'm okay. It's been a week, but I'm okay.
You're okay. That is a really good bar to
considering
set.
Considering the past couple months.
As always, we have a lot to talk about this episode, so let's jump right into it. Champ, we gotta talk about it.
I know we always come in here and say, man, what a week. But sometimes, you know what? Actually, it's man, what a Friday.
Truly, what a Friday.
Yesterday, it is Saturday right now. Yesterday, oh boy. I don't think I was expecting we've heard about the Rangers being ready to throw their entire team down a well.
They were like, yeah, let's blow this shit up.
Which is funny considering is they're not even that low in the team, like the standings.
Yeah, like they're definite. Like this is what I hate about. Well, I hate the Rangers, but just like, bro, you're still like cup contender.
Yeah,
like, not cup contenders, but like you're
playoffs.
It's the kind of thing where it's like we talked about this the other week of like stop appropriating my culture. If your team doesn't fucking suck and isn't in the bottom 10 standings, you're fucking fine. Just because you're not winning the President's Trophy every year doesn't mean your team is bad. Yeah. Like, so your definition of bad and ours is very different.
The Rangers this month or this year have already gone on a couple losing streaks. But who hasn't?
Asses whooped by the
Who
Devils.
hasn't?
Oh, I will say they did
get their asses whooped. And like there were some rumblings of them being like, "Oh, we're gonna just explode the team." And I remember looking at that and being like, "Oh, that's funny, you know, haha." Surely they won't because it's just a run of bad games.
You just got to get it together. Maybe you trade a few pieces, but
not the fucking captain.
But apparently they do this all the time. It's sort of like how, okay, have you ever heard of the Spinal Tap drummer reference?
No.
So it's like, now I gotta look this up because there's a specific thing, but basically it's a cursed position, right? Like, so there was this, the drummers in Spinal Tap, it's a fictional English heavy metal band.
Okay.
And basically there was like real history to do with it or whatever. But like I guess all the drummers die in the show. Oh. So like it's like he dies I'm reading the Wikipedia page. In the fictional ones, they die in a bizarre gardening accident. Oh. They have eaten by their pet python. And so like the joke is that it's a cursed position, right? You know, like, and I feel like that's the captaincy of the Rangers. So like, Jacob Trouba, just gonna get traded.
Jacob Trouba is now an Anaheim Duck, which is fucking hilarious. Yesterday morning, you and I were chatting about hockey as we do, and the Trouba trade rumblings came at like 10 a.m. And I remember you and I were like, hello? Like, yeah, what the fuck?
Because they were playing the Penguins, and we were like, why on a like, you had all week to do this, baby. He's like, what you doing? Like,
and I mean, it was just like I was like, maybe they're gonna try, like, because it was pretty obvious by that point that Trouba was a foot out the door, not on his volition, of course. But
yeah, like it was a whole thing.
Yeah,
and we knew about this from the summer too. Like this was not a new thing, but it was more of like a when is the penny gonna drop kind of thing.
Apparently, after 5 games, it was done. So Trouba is now an Anaheim Duck, and have you seen the Ducks post about? Yes. Oh my god,
the hard hits. Which, to be fair to them, not all of them were dirty hits.
No.
But, like, it is kind of, like, audacious to be like, look, we have 2 goons on our team.
Yeah.
Like, are you really sure you want that as your branding?
Well, I guess. I mean, that's their, It's just, so when Trouba got traded, the speculation, there was some speculation that he was going to be a captain trade. This was rumor. A captain trade for Brady Tkachuk, which, can you imagine?
Jesus Christ. Brady Tkachuk as the fucking New York Ranger, but also Trouba to the Sens. It was this is what, like, you can't believe every tweet that comes out. You have to, there's specific people on Twitter that I trust with this information. and most of them are not it. Like that one was just,
that one was one of those. It's like, yes, exactly.
It's the same people that are like, Gino's going to Dallas. Shut the fuck up. Like
a source has told us that Gino's going to Dallas. Can you imagine him in fucking Texas?
Yeah, you know what it is? I think I have found the root of that problem, that specific rumor, because there was an article talking about how if the Penguins wanted to go, for a cup run, like a true cup run with Sid, what do they do? And the idea was that who has the cap space and who would be willing to take Gino, and who might Gino be willing to go to? Okay. And Stars was one of because he wasn't good. If he's gonna get traded, he's not, and he would never leave the Penguin. It always would. I have a T-shirt that literally says always with what is it? Always for Pittsburgh, only with Sid or whatever. Yeah. I can never fucking remember the order of the words. But either way, like that's the quote. It's never going away. But if it was gonna be somebody, it was gonna be the Stars. Like, and that's where that again came from, was like the theoretical of like, if you want to go for this, what happens? Right. And so it was just a hypothetical scenario. And I think some people heard that and thought it was an actual rumor. And it's like, no. This was a specific instance of someone basically writing a fanfic of what happens.
Oh Lord.
For a cup run. Yeah.
Like, I know that another team that was considering him was Columbus, which
only for Pittsburgh, always with Sid.
Only for
why
Pittsburgh,
I can never
always with Sid.
Order.
Columbus was another team, and I would not have been surprised by Columbus. I think I was more surprised by the Ducks.
They also said Buffalo too.
That would have been interesting.
Possible. I will say, I think it sucks as a person. Yeah. For what he's going through. So here's the thing. He's a good person off the ice. Yes. I don't think that makes up entirely for the fact that he's a piece of shit on the ice. Captain Elbow, my favorite memes of him. I really hope one day he snaps his elbow like a twig. Just for the karma. Yeah. However, how many hockey players love their wife that much and respect her as a person? Because too many men don't see their wives as people. They don't see women as people.
She's in residency?
She's in residency. Yeah. And he negotiates it. And they have a kid who isn't even a year old.
Jesus.
And he's going to Anaheim
by himself.
And the family by himself. Yeah, his wife and kid are staying in New York or wherever they're living, probably Connecticut or something, because you're not living in the city. So like that fucking sucks. He's away from his basically newborn infant child. Yeah. His wife, who's going through one of the most difficult things you can possibly do, which for viewers who don't know what medical residency is, it was invented by a guy who did so many drugs. Like, was literally a drug addict. Cocaine, I think it was. Yeah. And he modeled the residency program on himself while he was high on cocaine at all times. Yeah. So you can't, and then the medical
in New York
industry just was like, yeah, like he just was like, it's fine. So they believe that this is, everybody knows it's a terrible system. Yep. It's terrible, but they keep doing it. And she's not obviously going to change anything. Right. She has to go through this. Like, yeah, he's a millionaire, but like, she's a fucking doctor. Like, she's going in for residency.
A ton of people were like, oh, well, Trouba shouldn't have had the option to, he should have been thrown on waivers. And I'm like, guys, even if he's a millionaire, he's still a person, and he was obviously trying to make a decision for his family, which totally valid. Sometimes you have to sacrifice team to be to keep your marriage. Like
I think that some people get blinded by the fantasy. Yes. Of you're playing in the NHL. That's what every, hockey player dreams of, and that's the only thing that should matter to you. Winning the cup is the only thing that matters to you. He's not a spring chicken. No. Like, how old is he?
31 or something.
Yeah.
Spring chicken. We're turning into the people who said your biological clock is running out.
No, but I'm saying that, like, there's a huge difference between a 23-year-old superstar not putting the NHL first and somebody who's been in the league for a decade going, hey, I got a wife and a baby. Yeah. And we're probably going to be set for life, but, like, I love her, and I would like her to do the thing that fulfills her and helps people in the world, and I think she is an equal partner in my marriage. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I just can't get behind people who are like
sacrifice your wife for the team. No.
Yeah, fuck off.
That's why you see so many wags leave.
Yeah, like, I mean, are we gonna talk about the people who that one goalie who was divorced by like 22 or whatever?
It was was it an Otter?
No.
Or no, it was he's on the Canucks.
Fuck it, I can't even remember.
I remember being surprised by that and being like, oh, yeah.
But like, you know, some of these guys, they understand that, like, or I should say not understand, because I think it's just a difference in perception or like what your personal priorities are. And for this guy, he's like, we signed a contract, we made a deal.
Yeah.
Someone put it on Twitter. They were like, I don't care if he doesn't want to go because his favorite restaurant is in New York. Like, who cares why he doesn't want to leave? They had a fucking contract. Yeah. You can't, I don't like the concept of like, well, as a player, you have less rights than management. Bitch, that's some bootlicking.
Yeah.
Fuck off with that. What do you mean? The GM also had the opportunity to get this shit figured out. They agreed to the contract with a no movement clause or a partial or a whatever.
No trade clause, yeah, to certain places.
No trade, like, to certain places. And a lot of people, they don't like it. They say that this should be able to. No, these are not, like, I don't know why people think that, like, you're an indentured servant if you go into the NHL. Like, you're still a person. I don't. And I don't like Jacob Trouba. But the thing is that if you deny people rights based on liking them, then nobody gets rights.
Yes, exactly.
Like, you can't pick and Jacob Trouba, again, I hope you bruise your elbow really bad, but like, I'm still gonna fight for your right to be have a competent contract that is upheld under the CBA. And I hope next time when the CBA expires, they look at this and go, hey, you can't just throw a guy on waivers because you can't negotiate with him. That needs to go to arbitration. That needs to go to like you know what I mean? It's no longer just an internal conflict. Like,
and I mean, he was basically saying, I was threatened. It was either that or being waivers. And he was like, I guess I'll go to the Ducks.
Yeah. Like, cause I assume it was because of Anaheim is going to be a similar, I don't want to say culture at all because they're different, but like if you're going to go between, well, I meant the city itself or his family, like, you know, New York versus, he's not going to go to Columbus when his wife is trying to
have a nice career.
In the medical industry for the next few years. He's going to go to a place like that has a thriving medical industry or a place that can at least
support her.
Maybe maybe they have family or something like that there. I don't know. But like,
speaking of the Rangers, Igor Shesterkin. Yes.
Yep.
Highest paying goalie in the NHL now.
I hate the Rangers so fucking much. Like, I can't express to you that they just get to throw away an $8 million. That's the craziest part about this. The Ducks took full retention.
Yep.
What the fuck? I don't understand. Like, if I'm a Ducks fan, I would be mauling about this. And as a Rangers hater, they won this.
Yeah.
Like, they won this hands down. They're gonna overpay. Well, I don't even think they're overpaying. Shesterkin has like single-handedly saved them in a lot of games. He's
but
like,
I don't think is he? Because I don't think he's as good as Bob.
Okay, here's the thing about Bobrovsky.
Yeah.
He is an amazing goalie.
Yeah.
The Panthers have a competent defense.
That's true. Yeah. Okay.
And they click really well. So I don't want to say that, like, because I'm sure people will be like, our defense sucks or whatever if you're a Cats fan. The thing about the Panthers to me is that they click well together.
Yeah.
They're not disciplined in that they don't take penalties. They're disciplined in that they know their roles.
Yes. Which is very important as we've seen this year.
And they are confident in each other. Yeah. I think that's me from watching them in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
Like, they have their dipshit games. But like overall, and like, he can be rattled, but he is a very
so can every goalie be? Yeah, I mean, like,
yeah, exactly.
Which, speaking of Bob, he's currently out, correct? He just had a baby. Good for him. Congratulations.
We love new babies.
A bunch of other teams are dealing with some major people out as well. We have Tyler Seguin. I know. He's undergoing he did undergo hip surgery. He's undergoing hip surgery.
Been fucking through it.
Yeah.
So like it was almost like a career-ending injury where he was out for like almost a full season. Previously, and now then came back during COVID, and then was like, trying to find his footing with his injuries and like how he's playing, and then So was this an injury?
No, I think it was like corrective.
Okay.
Because he seemed fine at the last games. I think he was just like, this was scheduled, and because he's having surgery in New York. It was not like an emergency.
Okay.
And
how many months?
4 to 6. Which he's basically out
that's
for
like,
he's basically
he might
done.
Even if they make playoffs, it's probably.
I don't think he would either, because he'd have to rehab.
He'd be so out of it.
Hope he's recovering. He's got a lot to go through. Victor Arvidsson still is not nowhere to be found. We'll get to him We'll get to him in a little bit. I know. Yeah. I know that you're angry about something. We'll get to that in a bit. Who else went out this week that was crazy? Jacob Lauko. There's no update on him. And that was like all of a sudden the Wild, who is at the top of the league right now, congratulations to them. They released, like, they won their game and then released this massive injury list. I was like, ooh, okie dokie.
Yeah, Trevor Zegras is still out for the Ducks.
Yes.
He just got hurt.
Yeah, I saw that.
Was it a puck that he got hit with or something?
I didn't see the injury.
I think it was a puck he got hit with. But they're not like listing what the injury is. Again, Avs still have a nice little list of.
But then you've got some big names that are coming back. Because we have, what's his name? Tyler Demko?
Demko,
Demko, the Canucks goalie, who basically, I think he missed most of last season.
Okay, so his story, if I recall, was that the injury was so fundamentally, basically that like he had to reteach himself how to be a goalie.
Thatcher Demko. Sorry.
Thatcher Demko. Because the way that he was hurt affects how you play as a goalie. So like the way that he'd always played was no longer feasible because he'd been hurt and I think came back and then got hurt again, if I'm remembering correctly. Like, I could be mixing him up because I do that all the time.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that was the case of like...
He was out for 7 months.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So...
I'm glad he's feeling better.
That's right.
It was a knee injury. So I don't know, but I do remember him. He completely had to change the way he skated.
Yeah, because it's your knee. Like,
which,
speaking of, I found out just how fucked up ACL injuries are because I knew them vaguely.
Yep.
And I guess it's just one of those things where if you're not into sports, like I'm just not. I never really played. I played sports as a kid, and then never played them past like the age of like I was in soccer and I was in I just wasn't. I had friends who did all these sports, and I just didn't. And so it's like you'd hear the terms, like, and you're like, oh, that sucks, like awful, and then you find out like, oh no. So a relative of mine had to have ACL replacement, and he's telling me about it, and he's like, it's bad, like he's out for like
months,
half a year basically, or more. And he can't go back to his sport for a year, at least. So the way he described it was that the tendon snapped or whatever, and they had to cut his other tendon.
Yes.
And thread it through where I'm holding my knee as I say this because I'm cringing so hard. Like I'm literally holding my knee, freaking out about it because like, I'm sorry, what? You had to do what to your knee? And so now going back and finding out that Gino had that, I don't think his was snapped. No. I don't know.
Walker, my brother had something very similar. He did not snap it, but it was like on the verge of it when he went in. He did not go in for 2 days because he didn't realize how bad his injury was because he slipped on sweat during a basketball game.
Oh.
And his knee went one way, the rest of his leg went the other, and he was like, didn't feel good. And he was training to be a physical therapist. Like, he was in school for that. And
well, that's,
and I remember him, because I was at home when he called, and my parents were like, what's going on? And he's like, gotten an incident, I'm okay. And just went to bed, and the next day his knee had swollen to the size of a baseball. And he still didn't go. And then finally my parents made him go. And I remember the doctors were like, dude, What were you doing? So ACLs are no joke. Horrific. I don't like knee injuries in the first place. Because it's such a sensitive tendon.
Well, here's the thing. Most things that you break, well, I don't want to say most things. Knees are a thing that evolutionarily are fucked.
Yeah.
Right? Like, when your knees go, there is no, like...
It's not going back the same way.
Yeah, you can't, like... if I break my arm, right, they put a titanium rod in it, and it hurts, and you get sensitive, but, like, you're good.
Yeah.
Overall. Like, you snap a femur, it sucks, but you put a titanium rod in it. Tendons are not that way, and knees are one of those things, like, a lot of my family... I would
rather break a leg than hurt my knee.
Yes, 100%. Like, 100%.
Yep.
Like, my uncle had double knee surgery. Like I said, my cousin had ACL replacement. Yeah. And, like, the concept of, like, let's compare it to Ovechkin, right? He had a boot. Or
for like 5 minutes.
And then he's like...
He's back on the ice. He's skating.
Yeah, which I believe you had mentioned that, like, that's
the bone that you want to break, yes.
Yes, so it's not like he broke, like...
If he had broken the tibia, he would have been done forever.
Yeah.
But out of all of the injuries, he got the one that he would least be affected by. I think he'll be back earlier than they expected.
Yeah, I think so too. Because, I mean, if he's already skating and if he feels fine
again, fractures are so finicky that you're like, oh, it's a fracture, but the fracture could be not as bad. You hear fracture and you think, oh God, the bone is sticking out through the leg.
Yeah, and it's not.
Sometimes there's just a tiny little crack in your bone. And it's like, well, shit. Okay, we got to fix that. And then they do, and you rest for 2 weeks, and then you're back on the ice. Like,
yeah,
it's not as bad as it. You fucked your knee up.
Yeah, and if it's not a compound fracture, you're...
Yeah, well, most of the time.
It sucks. Yeah, but that's what I mean, is like, you're not that one player on basketball who had his leg snapped through his...
Oh, stop.
That's what a compound fracture is.
Yeah,
if the bone breaks through the skin and it's like, it's snapped clean in half, basically. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I think of all the injuries for Ovechkin to get, it was
that one.
The best.
And then we also have another big name out there, Golden Knights captain Mark Stone. He's coming back after a 14-game injury absence. Lets them accrue a lot of cap space.
Yeah.
And he was out after
what did he even have?
He had a lower body injury. So, I mean, it could have been legitimate, but it was against the Oilers, and they don't hit hard, so who fucking knows?
Sometimes.
But yeah, so the injuries, I guess it's that point of the season now. It's like, all right, here we go.
It's also going to be that last push right before, like,
playoffs,
Four Nations and everything.
Oh, Four Nations,
I was going to say Four Nations and everything. So it's like, you're going to have some teams that are, like, chomping at the bits.
Yeah.
And other teams that are, like, I think everybo's going to be burned out, like, before the holidays. So I think this is going to be a rough month overall for a lot of teams.
Yeah, so that's the biggest crazy thing. The other crazy thing is Saint.
Oh.
Speaking of Vegas.
It's not my fault.
It is your fault. So for those who have been listening for a while, you guys understand that we do not put things into the universe because we inevitably curse them. And I just would like to ask Saint, why would you curse my team?
I didn't curse your team.
Sure, whatever you say.
Okay. You all know the story of Cassandra,
yep.
Okay? Or like there's a phrase out there called "don't shoot the messenger."
Yeah.
Okay. I see the patterns and acknowledge them. It's not my fault.
Would you like to explain what happened?
It's not. So it was Tuesday.
I think so.
Yeah. Tuesday, December 3rd. It was. I'll tell you the story about this. In that, my cousin is a Panthers fan.
Yep.
And it was the Penguins versus the Panthers. And we were obviously chirping each other and like, haha. And I'm not gonna lie. I had no faith. I was shit talking my boys. Yep. I was like, this sucks. They
weren't having a good game either.
At the start, no. And then we pulled it in and we were like doing really well. And I was like, I texted my cousin. I said, the Penguins have never met a lead that they couldn't blow.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, at least, cause it was, we were doing really well,
yeah.
and the Panthers were sucking, but we went into the third with like a 2-goal lead, and that is what we are notorious for blowing. Like statistically, it is. My cousin was like, yeah, that's what the announcers on our end are talking about. I was like, we don't need to, this is a family problem. Like, you guys don't get to talk about how bad my team is. So then I was like, well, you messaged me and we're like, oh, are they
because I wasn't watching. I wasn't watching.
Because you weren't watching. And I was like, no, it's 4-3, but they're on a power play. And then they scored and it was tied 4-4.
And I felt really bad.
I was like, fucking Christ. Then we won in overtime.
Yeah.
So the score was 5 Penguins.
4 Panthers.
4 Panthers. And then the Bruins, same thing, overtime. And it was 2 Red Wings, 3 Bruins.
Yep.
So on the ESPN, because it was how it works, is that they're away and home. On my screen, and Champ can include a screenshot
yes,
of this
I will.
for people who are on non-audio listeners. It literally went 4-5, 3-2. And then on my screen, it shows Golden Knights to Oilers, and I went, oh no, is it going to be 1-0? Because it's going 5-4-3-2-1-0. And
so
Champ
mad.
was like, you can't shut up. And I was like, maybe it'll switch and it'll be that I don't know. But
you got the numbers right, but not the order, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, no, but on my screen I did get the right order. Yeah.
No, I mean like that's what you were hoping.
Yeah, I was like, maybe it'll just swap and who's to say? But no.
We just played
Champ.
Yep. There was a very prominent.
There's a screenshot on my Twitter of our conversation of me going like, "Oh no," and Champ going, "Shut up."
And then very much 3 hours later, because you'd gone to bed, I was like, "Thanks, Saint." Oh, it was not a good time. And again, you just gotta stop speaking things into existence.
It's not my fault. Again, I'm an apostle of the hockey gods.
Oh my god.
And it's not my fault.
When you see patterns, yep. Mm-hmm.
I see patterns, and they hated him because he spoke the truth.
Yep, okay, Cassandra. All right, well, they had that, and then Connor McDavid also got honored for his 1,000 point, and then we kicked the Blue Jackets' ass. Sorry, Blue Jackets.
It was, yeah.
And then Sid, 1,300 games. Good for him. I know that they lost, so it's not that sweet.
To the fucking rags.
I know.
I hate it here.
But it was a good attempt.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, never mind.
Tomasino, I love you.
Tomasino did a good boy. Yeah.
People were blaming Nedeljkovic, and I don't know what they were seeing because it wasn't what I was seeing. The
pattern saying.
The shots on goal, which that was the other funny thing about the Panthers game. It was like, oh my god, I can't even remember, but it was like, 41 shots on goal for the Panthers.
Yeah.
And we had 14
It was
shots
the playoffs
with Dallas and the Oilers.
Yes.
How can we
make that about us? Okay.
It was incredibly funny to beat the reigning Stanley Cup champions with the 2024 Penguins roster. Like, I had to tell you this, I was trying to be so demure, calm, cool, collected, because I was like, listen, Sid got a point. I went into this season with, as long as Sid can maintain his points per game and Gino and Tanger can keep getting points, and that's all I want. I want some fun games, and I want the boys to get their points. So I was like, Sid got a point, Gino and Tanger got goals, Pickering got his first NHL goal, Dragon had a beautiful goal after a 3-minute shift that nearly killed him.
Well,
and I was like, listen, so it's all okay, it's fine. And then Rusty scored the overtime winning goal. I screamed like we'd won the playoff round. Like, I was like, Panthers, we got a 2-point bar.
Oh my god.
Like, losing my mind. I'm pretty sure my cousin could hear me in Florida. And then I got my payback because we lost the race.
It's fine.
So.
It's fine.
So speaking of Boston teams, I watched WHL.
Yeah. I hadn't had a chance this week. This week was crazy.
Yeah. Let me see what team score. Do they have the scores on their website? So I will say one thing I'm really enjoying with the PWHL is it's on YouTube Live.
Oh.
Like I like, because I pay for YouTube Premium because I like to watch you know.
With no ads.
So I'm like, yeah, no ads, and I use YouTube Music instead of Spotify.
Oh,
and,
right,
like,
yes.
Just I watch more YouTube than anything else, so it just makes sense to pay the $13 or whatever, $20 I pay for everything, and so you can watch it on YouTube Live.
That's
like,
awesome.
I was on my phone reading, and then in the corner I had the Boston Fleet.
That's really cool, though.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know. I like it's just really cool. Like,
yeah.
I will say I'm growing more fond of the uniforms.
Okay.
Montreal still, I think, has objectively the best uniform.
Okay. Okay.
But the fleets look better on the ice.
It makes me wonder if it was just the lighting.
Yeah, sometimes promo pics are just weird. Yeah, the Boston lost, but it did get to see Hillary Knight score a goal, so that was cool.
That's nice.
Yeah, and then let's see, Montreal's been doing New York won New York's actually doing better than expected.
Oh, good.
They won their last two. Tomorrow is New York and Boston, and then actually Minnesota and Toronto are playing right now. But yeah, it's been cool. It's been really cool to like
see the other side.
Yeah, and have women refs, and like, I don't know, it's just cool. Like,
I'm excited to see how the season goes. I'm hoping that it gets more popular so that the NHL might consider Jailbreak.
I hope so too. That was really fun to watch, by the way. Just like the knowing that like they wanted
to try.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they wanted to try. There was a thing that maybe if anybody in the comments knows, on the delayed penalty, I don't know if maybe I just missed it, but like, it didn't happen when they changed possession. Because usually it's when the penalizing team gets possession, they blow the whistle and the play is dead. I swear to God, I thought I saw
like immediate?
Whoever. Yeah. No. They waited.
Oh, weird.
So I don't know, because I don't know the rule differences.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
We know Jailbreak, and I know there's a couple other weird ones that like people had been kind of like, I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like. So there's, I don't know how. I haven't looked at the rule book for that yet. But yeah, New York, considering they were terrible last season, are now top. And Victoire, Boston is bottom, hasn't won a game yet. But it's only, the thing is that it's hard to compare to the NHL because they have significantly less games.
Oh.
Yeah, how many are there actually games? It's a total of 90 games, each team playing 30 regular season matchups.
Okay. So it's not, it's like...
It's almost a third less than what the NHL plays, which is still crazy, by the way. Like, every time I talk to somebody who's into another sport, I'm like, yeah, we play like 80 games. And they're like, the fuck? I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah, PWHL, I'm glad it's doing well. It was really cool to hear the crowds and cheering and like...
I'll have to see if I can catch a game this week.
Yeah, I mean, I had it just kind of on in the background.
Yeah.
It was like, I wasn't like too deep into it just because during the week it's kind of hard for me. I'm usually watching hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, there's always 50 million games on.
Well,
but yeah, it was cool. I really hope that viewership keeps up. I hope that people keep going to games. We would like to go to a game ourselves.
They said, I saw, because they're going to go to Edmonton. I saw that Rogers is basically sold out for a women's hockey game, which is fantastic. So
yeah. They're gonna be near not my city, but a city within driving distance.
Yeah.
They're gonna be in Boston the same fucking weekend, which is so obnoxious because we are fans of the Boston Fleet, and it was gonna be a Boston New York game, and I was like, those are our two. We like both of those teams. That would be so. No,
they're just backwards.
Us, yep. Yeah. So sorry, PWHL. We wish we could go to your games.
Just went the wrong way. Yeah, for once.
Yeah, literally. We were like, maybe we can catch.
While we're in Boston, nope.
Yeah, we thought we were gonna. Maybe if they have a home game that week, we can just take an Uber and like eat the cut. Nope. While we're just sitting here, the ECHL just posted the Utah Grizzlies Lions person, and it is a woman.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, it's the Utah Grizzlies. So in the U.S. we have I'm sorry, it goes like NHL then AHL.
Yeah.
And then ECHL?
Okay.
I did know this. It's just my brain is fried. Okay. I'm so tired. All the time. I'm just tired. Q4 is a hell of a time to be alive. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, they said, so Sydney Harris is roughing her first ECHL game at the Maverick Center last night.
That's so cool. Congrats to her.
That's so cool. Yeah. We were like that's why I was like, oh my God, we're just talking about WHL and then this popped up on my feed. Like, yeah, she's the first female referee in ECHL history.
That's so cool.
So
congratulations.
Cool. Yeah, fuck yeah.
Saint, did you know that we have a sponsor today?
I didn't. Who's our sponsor, champ?
I think our sponsor is this little known artist, Saint Astra. Have you heard of her?
Oh, right. That's right. We do have a sponsor. Today's sponsor is Saint Astra. Twitch streamer, cosplayer, and artist. You can support her by purchasing from her Etsy or subscribing on twitch.tv/Saint Astra. Use your free Prime sub and get access to cute little emotes. Saint Astra's Etsy also sells a variety of jewelry, decorations, and trinkets. Everything is handmade and crafted with the perfect balance of love and spite. All proceeds go directly to the Saint Astra Dry Saddle Jersey Fund.
All right, this week we have the Four Nations face-off. All of the lineups got released. All of the teams got released, and it's exciting because this is our first Four Nations. We caught a little bit of All-Stars while we were in Vegas last year, so I have no idea what to expect. I'm super excited. Saint, was there anything that surprised you on this list? On these name lists? So we'll go through each one by one. Finland, we have, you can see the graphic on screen. A lot of names here that I didn't realize were from Finland. I knew Barkey was. I didn't realize how many Panthers were going to be on the Finnish team.
I did just because they went to Finland.
Yeah.
And my cousin went to Finland to watch the games against the Stars with them, which was cool. But yeah, they have a lot of Finnish players. I say a lot, it's like 3, but when the majority of your league is Canadian and American.
They've got some really strong forwards. We've got Barkey, Patrick Liney, Sebastian Aho, Rupe Hintz, Anton Lundell. I mean, those are really strong names. I don't recognize many of the defensemen. I do recognize all 3 of the goalies, which is going to be intense. Saros is going to lay down on the line. It'll be fine.
Lay down and cover the puck.
The Swedish lineup is a little bit controversial. We've got William Nylander, Philip Forsberg, which was awesome. I think he's going to end up being the captain for this. I think Barkey will end up being the captain for Finland.
Yeah, I think so too.
Elias Lindholm, Victor Arvidsson. You want to say anything about that?
Okay, so here's my thing. As a diehard Penguins fan, obviously, Rickard Rakell. Yeah. Is Swedish.
Yeah.
And he's their, it's funny, it's cute, because he had a really bad year last year.
Yeah.
Because he was injured.
Yeah.
And he was recovering from injury, and he just did not put out the numbers that a lot of people were hoping for.
Right.
This year, he has been one of our
top
in
scorers.
My opinion, best players.
Yeah.
Yes, he's so good. He's always trying to shoot the puck. He's just good. Like, he just genuinely is. And I think to ignore him, who is currently healthy and well scoring, to them name Victor Arvidsson, who has no projected return date to the Oilers.
Has been missing for a month.
It would be different if they were like, hey, Victor Arvidsson has no estimated time of return, therefore he had an original pick. We have elected to go with Rickard Rakell so that Victor Arvidsson can recover safely. That would be different, but to like not pick Ricky at all, like, was kind of like got me growling a little bit. And he kind of took it. I don't think he knows it's, the overall, all of the rosters picked veterans over
the newbies,
young stars,
which is another interesting decision. I understand why they did it. I don't necessarily agree with it.
I think they should have
interspersed. You have to like bring up the kids from the you gotta give them some inclusion. You can't just be like, oh well, this is old Jen. Old Jen only gets to participate.
Can you imagine in 2000 and whatever, when we've had not having Sid Crosby in 2010 or something in a Four Nations face-off, if that existed at the time, that to me is and I'm not saying that because they should throw in Macklin Celebrini or something, but to not have some of these younger stars is kind of It's a little.
It's a small. It's a slight. It's like, okay, well,
it is.
It's the old man's club.
Yes, it is definitely the old man's club a little bit. Because, like, who, I'm looking at least they have Jack Hughes on USA.
So we'll get to that. Real quick, the defensemen, we've got some great names. We've got EK from Erik Karlsson.
They better put that man on the power play. I'm so fucking kidding. Because all he does, I know everybody jokes about, like, oh, Nursey, you're a forward. EK is... He's chaos. It's why I can't hate him, even when he fucks up, because he is always trying. He just does stupid shit sometimes.
Well,
you resonate. He's trying to shoot the puck. He's a good vibe. Like I'm so happy that I think he's gonna have a lot of fun.
Right. We also have Mattias Ekholm, whom is the dad of the Oilers. I love him so much. Glad to see he got included. Gustav Forsling, another really good. Rasmus Dahlin. I mean, these are really good, strong defensemen. That's a really strong defense lineup.
I think that their defense and defensive style of play is going to be very interesting for Sweden.
And then we also have Gustavsson, Markstrom, and Ullmark. Congratulations to them. Ollie got on. Yeah, I'm happy for him. Now we're going to the USA, and we're talking about the younger generation. Jack Hughes is probably the youngest one on this list.
I think. I don't even know.
Again, this is a strong team. I think that USA has the best goalies tandem.
I think USA has the best shot of winning.
Really? Okay, so we have for some of the forwards, Jack Eichel, Matthew Tkachuk, Jake Gunsel, Austin Matthews, and Jack Hughes. That's going to be an insane line.
Yeah.
Brady Tkachuk, Dylan Larkin, JT Miller, Brock Nelson. I mean, just an incredible line. And then they have Quinn Hughes and Charlie McAvoy.
That's what I'm saying.
That's scary. Like, that's an insane line. They've got Brock Faber.
I know we hate the Canucks, but Quinn Hughes
is insane. He's a great player.
He's probably going to go down as one of the best offensive defensemen in the fucking game ever. He broke records that are held, like, so, like, someone did a breakdown because they're like, oh, he's the top scoring defenseman for the Canucks in franchise history. Where does that rank against other franchises? Like, if he was a Penguin, he's like number 3, and the kid's not even 30. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he to me.
Congrats to their parents for having 3 incredible hockey players.
I know, right? I think,
and it's so none funny. Of their dad's features.
I know. They really, because their mom was a hockey player, and they just stole their mom's genes. That's
Matthew. And so then we also have Connor Hellebuck, which, good God, Jake Ottinger and Swayman. Like, that is an insane tandem. Like
the Vezina winning goalie isn't doing well. Let's throw in the other Vezina caliber goalie.
Even if it was just
Vezina 2 years ago.
Even if it was just Jake and Sway. Like,
I think they'd still and I'm not saying the others are bad goalies, but just the caliber.
Like, those are some of the biggest names as goalies in the league right now.
And when you're putting those goalies with Quinn Hughes, like,
they're gonna cry when they have to go back to their normal teams.
I think all of the goalies on Team USA are gonna be like, is this what this is like? Yeah. Is this what I could have? When, like, Sway is like, Bruins, can you, like, do this at all? Like, stop letting the puck get to my net 50,000 times in a game.
And finally, we have Team Canada, which, looking at this list, Saint.
Jesus.
I know. We've got, for the forwards, we've got Sam Reinhart, Connor McDavid, Nate McKinnon, Brad Marchand, Sidney Crosby, Mark Stone, Brandon Hagel, Braden Point, Mitch I mean, it just goes on. And
Travis Konechny, who, and I'm not a Flyers fan, people were surprised he got named.
Really?
He's leading the league in shorthanded goals.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Like, he's, like, I don't think they were surprised necessarily, but because he's one of the younger players.
Yeah.
Comparatively, I want to say. Because he's 27, so, like, he's not,
he's
like,
getting up there. No.
Yeah, but I mean, like, compared to the rest of the roster. Mitch Marner, too. Like,
Mitch Marner, the first 2 lines are scary. The second 2 lines are scary.
Yeah, like, these are all pretty scary. Like,
and then you've got, like, the defense. You got Cale Makar and Devin Towles.
Cale
Makar is insane. There's 1 or 2 names on this list that I wish had been there. I would have loved to see Evan Bouchard get on there. I know that he's had an interesting season so far, but overall, he is so strong.
The stats support him.
Yes.
Like, pretty strongly this year, so.
And then I also would have liked to see Zach Hyman on the list. Obviously, I know that I can't have all of my boys on this team, but I think Zach, especially because the minute he didn't get named for the team, he came out and nearly scored a hat trick.
Which I think it's going to be funny to see a lot of the players. I think a lot of players who are not in Four Nations are going to be going hard over the next month. Because some of these guys, I don't want to say they get a rest, their energy, but like they're gonna get a rest. So they're like, well, fucking balls to the walls, let's go hard. Like,
then we also have Aiden Hill, who that's the reason we had a shutout this past week. Jordan Bennington, fuck you, and Sam Multibolt, which are strong. They're strong goalies if they can be consistent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just gonna be an interesting roster.
I have no clue who they're gonna name for captain in the Canada one. Like, looking at this list, it's just disappointing. I think there are so many good captains. I can't even say it with a straight face.
It's really, you're so yeah. Gee, let me be captain. Do you think Sid is gonna go?
They're gonna give it to Sam Bennett.
Do you remember last year? Because we didn't watch All Stars, but like we saw clips of it later. And I think it was Nate Mac who got captaincy for one of the teams.
Would not be surprised.
And then
everyone was like, "What the fuck?" Because Sid wasn't.
And then Sid was like, "Oh, a breather." He was very much like, "Whatever my captain wants, whatever my it's almost 100% gonna be Sid." But like, I think it would be funny if he was like, "I'm good."
Give it to Travis. Seth Jarvis.
He would never give it to a flyer. I think. It'd be
no,
funny
you're
if he
right.
was like, hey, Mitch Marner, do you want to?
That would be so funny. Also, I have no clue. I think actually the hardest one would be the USA for captaincy because they've got a lot of good standouts. I think it's going to end up being Matthews, but I think there was a bunch of analysis that said it would be really funny if it was Matthew Tkachuk.
He's apparently like very good with he's an A, and he was an A in Calgary too. Yeah. But like he's
not like Brady.
But he is apparently like actually a pretty good leader. Like Barkov has talked about it, where like they just complement each other so well that like the areas that Barkov doesn't do well in, Tkachuk does well in, and vice versa. That like
that's always important.
He has said that they're essentially co-captains together. Oh. That like it's not a CNA, like they're co-captains. Yeah. I know.
I also
I would genuinely not be surprised if he was named. I think they'll go for seniority.
See, my other guess was going to be Quinn Hughes.
Ryder?
I know.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, because he is a captain, but he's a strong captain, and you can tell.
He is.
There was a statement by their coach, the Canucks coach, which again, I only know this because it pops up on Twitter every 5 minutes thinking that I like the Canucks. But their coach was saying that they were down, I think it was last night's game. They were down by a significant margin in the first quarter, and he didn't say a word in the locker room because Quinn went in there and talked to the team. Yeah. So, I mean, that's you can tell at his age, he's very strong in the role. It looks like it's making him turn into a sickly Victorian child, but good for him. I mean, if he, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets it. I would actually be really impressed if he got it.
Yeah, I think I as someone who is rooting for my boys to do well, and that's it. Everybody is like, oh, it's so, like, my other Penguins fans are like, oh my god, it's so hard to root against it. I'm like, oh, didn't know we had to do that. Like, I don't root for New York teams, and I'm from New York.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm really excited to see what Four Nations is all about.
The thing is that again, we're players first, foremost, and always.
Yes.
And so all of my boys are on team, I would say multiple. I mean, it's Sid and Marshy and Connor. Like, I have to root for Canada a little bit, but it is hard when USA has
such an incredible lineup. It was just an incredible lineup.
Yeah, I think that this is going to be really fun. So people were saying like, it won't matter if my team loses. But if my team wins, that it's a precursor. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, I think that this to me is also, maybe if you are looking at it from the lens of it being an Olympics precursor, is this the reason that they chose a lot of these veterans and older players to
think about it though.
Going to be lively enough to, but I think it's too far away.
That's what I was going to say. It's 2 years away to even, you could have career-ending injuries for that.
Yeah, and
2 of them are going to retire.
Yeah. I mean, like, you have people who are never, like, even if they're retired from the NHL, they can still play in the Olympics, I think. But, like, I don't know. But, like,
it'll be really interesting. So
I'm excited. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
I wish we were. I almost wish we were in Boston for that week. Like the 2 weeks.
We said no.
We said no. We did, because when is it?
It's the week. So we get to Florida. We're going to Florida. We go to the Florida game. It's the last game before Four Nations.
Yes.
Then it's Four Nations, and then we go to the, 2 of the first games.
We
back
go to
from
20. Yeah. It's February 12th to 20th.
Yes.
For the Four Nations, we go to
Florida,
the Panthers on the 8th, and then we go to Boston on the 21st for 2 games in Boston. Jesus Christ.
Yep. We made that executive decision. We were like, I don't think that's going to be something we can do.
Yeah, because it was one of those things that, like, we booked the Airbnb, which, as someone who's not necessarily pro Airbnb, sometimes you have to do it because we're a large group of friends going, versus if it was just like 2 or 4 of us, I would just get a hotel room. Yeah. But our Airbnb dropped in price by like
$1,000.
$1,000 from when I looked at it, because I looked at it in September and October. Yeah. I looked at it in September, took the data in October, and then we booked it December. And then the Bruins won the next day, which was funny.
Yep.
They know. And they know. And we booked it because it was the only Airbnb left that could fit as many people as are going on this trip, and it had dropped by $1,000. Yep. If we were trying to go in Four Nations in the city of Boston, half of the fun of going to cities is going in the off season when it's not crazy busy. Yes. Like I'm an off season girly. But yeah, I'm very, very excited for Four Nations. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
It's gonna be fun.
I think it's not as fun as I think All Stars per se.
All Stars is a very different brand. Yeah.
All Stars is a very different brand. I also think it's gonna be like slightly more fun because they're definitely gonna be trying really. Like, I don't know. We're gonna see what the effort is.
Yeah.
Are the players gonna be in this? Because it's not IHF. I don't think so, because it's the International Ice Hockey Federation.
Oh.
They're not linked with this. Like, this is its own thing.
Cool.
What are your thoughts, everybody? Who are you rooting for? Who do you think should have made the cut? Were there any names that you didn't
see? Are you excited? Who's gonna win? That's the question.
Yeah, who's gonna fucking win?
Right now, my prediction is gonna be Team USA.
Right now, Team USA. I think that you are pretty accurate. Yeah. I truly don't know. I think it's going to be a case of, can Canada destroy the goalies in the Team USA matchup?
Yeah.
Or can the defense of Team USA make up for the lackings in their goalies?
We'll see.
We'll see.
So, this is a follow-up story, Saint.
We're real integral
journalists. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know you saw it. Did you guys see the follow-up with Brad Marchand and Biz Nasty?
It was so funny. I was in tears laughing. And I'm usually not tickled by, like, these bits. You know what I mean?
Forth.
Like,
they're usually much more serious, too.
Yeah.
So, for context, on Tuesday, it was early this week. Biz Nasty and Spit and Chicklets put out a thing chirping Marchie for his comments last week about Biz Nasty's fight with some hecklers at the bar, and said he would no longer be NHL Man of the Year.
Well, and it was just like, it's the player. He said it was like player safety for whatever broadcast they do. I don't remember his broadcast because I don't pay attention to anything ever.
Yeah, it's TNT.
TNT, that was it. So it was like he's banned, and like Biz had this whole segment on it,
and he was
because Marchie had chirped him.
Yeah,
Biz started it, Marchie finished it,
and Marchie finished it, and Biz was like in a neck brace and a head wrap. It was so fun. Like that was before the game. It was legitimately so funny.
Like hysterical. Like I was like, what the fuck is going on?
halfway through the first quarter, Marchie gets on Hattie Watch. And Biz had said, I'll take back my comments about Brad Marchand if he scores 2 and one of those is on a power play. And Marchie said, okay, bet. And did that in the first quarter. And so in the first quarter intermission, TNT had an interview with Marchie, who's like dripping with sweat. And was like, okay, Marchie, or Biz says he's going to let you go back. And I mean, it was back and forth. And then the Bruins won because that was the game, the 3-2 game, I believe. And I mean, they were still chirping each other back and forth. It was so funny. And so now Marchie is back on the NHL's good list.
He called him angry little elf.
Yep.
Like the way Biz delivered that took Marchie out. Angry little elf. And Marchie lost it. And then I lost it because it was a combo of Biz's delivery and Marchie losing it.
I absolutely love, and this is another reason I like the Oilers broadcast so much, but I love when the announcers get funny with it. Like, you're in a sport.
Have some whimsy. Be a little silly. Like,
that whimsy is what draws people in.
Yes, people don't like.
Do you remember that clip of the Devils versus the Canucks where the kid was like on screen and it was his first NHL game, and the camera operator kept cutting back and forth to him and the entire crowd would cheer? Mm-hmm. That was like one of those things that broke containment and everyone was like, oh my god, hockey is so cool. It's the same thing with that one defenseman who got a slashing charge and went to the box and was like losing it. He's like, no, it's not a slashing charge. That's fucking ridiculous. And then he looks up and he sees the actual replay of the penalty. And he's like, ooh, yep, that was it. Those posts broke containment. I knew about those posts before I even knew about what the whole deal was.
I didn't know shit about hockey.
It's the same thing with Grizzy.
Yeah,
Grizzy.
Like Grizzy. I was like, Grizzy? You mean the player? Like literally, like I had said, I knew that cosplayer who did Girl Gritty. That one clip of the play, like he goes, oh, that's fucking bullshit, and then goes, ooh,
yeah, because it was real bad.
Yeah, that was so like those broke containment, like you said, like people that knew nothing about hockey knew about it. There was a couple other posts like on Tumblr or like on Twitter where it was like people who knew nothing about hockey were like, oh, what is this? Like, oh, that's fun and whimsical. And at least it gives them a positive perception.
Yes.
Of
and then
game.
You go, okay, well, I want to learn more. Most people go, I want to learn more about this and do a little bit of like investigating, especially for something like as hilarious as the Biz and Marchie exchange. Because if you didn't know that Biz used to be a hockey player, you'd think that Marchie was bullying him. But then you do some digging and your curiosity gets the best of you. And you're like, oh my God, this is a fun little interaction. So it's just something like we need more whimsy in hockey. We don't need necessarily all of these really strict, your biological clock is running out. How are you going to handle, being 26 and not being able to score? And you're like, what? That's, again, another reason why I like the Oilers so much because of Gene Principe. I can't say his name. He always, at the end of his interviews, asks a really silly question. And you're like, he's trying to get the players to break out of that serious moment. And I always appreciate that.
Yeah, like what was that other one? Bry, who did the Twitter questions that like different coaches. That it's just fun. Or like, and people can hate the Bruins all they want, but you can't say their social media teams are fucking hysterical. Like the recent one where she was trying to get them to try and match one of the riffs in Wicked. Like it's just, you gotta have some whimsy. Or like the Penguins on their TikTok, they were like, we asked our Gen Z intern to make, and it was just.
Yes, I love those videos. I love those videos funny. So much.
Like, it's just like, you gotta have some whimsy. I know some people are way too serious about hockey, but like most people, I feel like they want some silly times.
Yes.
Like,
and hockey is the sport to do it.
Yeah, it is. Like, it's just, they have fucking knives on their feet and they skate around on ice
and they hit a plastic or a rubber puck.
Yeah,
and they punch each other.
And they've been, when the refs will let them, fuck you refs that were in the Montreal Canadiens and Bruins game and wouldn't let us have a brawl line, like fuck you. Anyways,
they knew it would end badly because of those two teams.
Yeah, that's why they should have let it happen.
All right. But yeah, bring whimsy back to hockey and we'll be happy about it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, I am going to move us into sportsmanlike conduct. Saint, we liked it so much last week. I'm going to stream it again.
Oh, okay.
So it is fun to watch. Yeah, because you might see the Penguins and lose it. All right. So sportsmanlike conduct. We're going to spin the wheel and see who we have to talk nicely about. Are you good, Saint?
Yeah, I'm watching.
All right. Let's see.
It is frozen on my screen.
Never mind.
That's fine. Oh, no. Oh, wait, there we go.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Damn it.
Oh, no. All right. Well, that is
tier list, baby.
Yeah, that tier list. That's an unfortunate one because that one is really low. This week's sportsmanlike conduct winner is the Blues, and ironically, we're playing them tonight. Saint, you want to go first?
Just because you can't think of anything.
No, I have one. I have one.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna steal yours,
no.
which is that I don't. Don't
take my boys.
They have. I'll say that they have ex-Penguin P.O. Joseph, and I think it's fun that they have him and his brother Matthew Joseph on the same team together. I think that's cute, I guess.
This is our first one that we've actually legitimately despised, I think.
Yeah.
This is hard. This is hard. I would also
that's it.
I would say that I like that they have Hollywood on their team. And Broby.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank
that
you.
I didn't take both of them because I was like, they have players I like. I specifically was like, no, they have my ex-Penguin.
Fuck you guys. I'm sorry, sportsmanlike conduct.
I guess their jerseys and
I was gonna say their logos are really cool. I love the idea.
They're more unique.
Yeah, because it's one of the only things that doesn't have when you think of hockey, you don't necessarily think of music. So that's neat. Yeah. I think that's cool. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut before I say something stupid.
Yep, sportsmanlike conduct.
We don't want to get fined by the player.
Who else is on their team?
Jordan Bennington.
No.
We're keeping our mouths shut.
No. Hold on.
Who's the captain?
Let me just see their roster real quick. I didn't know they were.
I mean, listen. All it needs to be said was the look on Dylan Holloway's face for his first interview as a Blue. That's me. Every time they come up, and they are coming back to they're coming back to Rogers tonight. They're gonna play the Oilers, so it'll be an interesting game. We also, you know what? Actually, Blues, I'll tell you say something. Thank you for putting Kapanen on waivers. He's been a great addition to our team. He's fast. He's great. Liking him a lot.
Wish it was Hollywood.
But can't have everything nice. I'll take Kapanen. Yeah. So yeah, that's my sportsmanlike conduct. You pieces of motherfucker. All right. Well, that is going to be it for us today. Folks, we really appreciate you listening through all of our rants and ramblings. The Puck Witches podcast is released on Spotify and our YouTube channels, and you can join the Night Witches Discord via the link below to talk about the episodes directly, as well as enjoy our other channels. It's full of gaming, hobbies, and good vibes.
Sometimes we record these episodes live on Twitch, so make sure you're following us there. And if you want to support us with a Twitch Prime on either or both of our channels, you get access to cute little emotes and extra channel points if you want to feel like pranking us. If you enjoy this podcast, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky for updates.
And lastly, don't forget to support the St. Astrid Drysaddle Jersey Fund. Makes a great Christmas present. Check out Saint's Etsy or subscribe on Twitch. We love you all and hope the hockey season is treating you well. Champ and Saint, signing off.
Stay witchy!